How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Hey, what's up, Will?
What up, what up?
Welcome, everybody, to Story of the Fight. My name is Merab. That's my boy, Will, and this is where we cover all things combat sports. Today, we're going to be covering UFC 306, Noche UFC special night.
Special night.
Big
night.
But before we do, just want to remind everybody, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're trying to reach 15,000 subscribers. We're almost there. Right, Will?
Yeah, I think we need 50 more. 50.
15 more. Almost there. But yes, if you can, subscribe to YouTube. If not, we have a lot of other ways you can actually listen to the podcast. What are those avenues, Will?
Yeah, we got Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are found. We also live stream not just on YouTube, but on Twitch and Twitter. So yeah, anywhere you want to find us, we're there. Story of the Fight on everything. StoryoftheFight.com. We'll list all of our socials: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch. I think is what's on there. Blue Sky, Vero.
But literally just storyofthefight.com.
StoryoftheFight.com. Yeah. And real quick, thank you everybody for the massive support we got on that last video. Pretty sick.
Absolutely.
Pretty stoked on that.
Absolutely. But yes, we're going to be covering
Shout out Genevieve.
All the UFC 306 fights. And Genevieve is going to absolutely love some of the pictures from one of those fights.
Yeah, there's one fight. Graphic content warning. There may be something on here. If you're squeamish, it'll be there. It's coming.
Genevieve is not squeamish. No, shout out Austin. Always joining us. I really appreciate it. Hope your week went well, gentlemen. He said, so far, so good.
Can't complain.
It was can't complain. But yes, so let's go and get started. We'll go with the main event. Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. How did you have this fight going into it, Will?
Well, real quick, we got to address the sphere. They did the fucking sphere. And I am excited to admit that they actually killed it with the sphere. I thought they were going to go super low effort, minimal UFC status quo bullshit. I thought they did some pretty cool shit with the sphere. Here's the tail, all the matchups where they just have the giant versions themselves with a different backdrop. I thought this backdrop in particular was a little weak, if I'm being honest, compared to some of the other ones. And actually, they played like a little video, like playing like before each fight, right? Where it's like they started off with like the story of like indigenous Mexican people, and then like, oh, this now the conquistadors are here, and then there's Mexican independence. Like each fight, it like progressed through Mexico's history. I thought they were all really well done, except for this one. The one before this fight was kind of lame in my opinion.
Okay.
Like the future, like
what'd you rate the card? Scale 1 to 10.
The card as a whole, I'll probably do like an 8.2.
Ooh, 8.2.
I thought it was very good. Yeah.
Okay.
Minus the main event and the co-main, which were kind of lackluster in my opinion. I thought the card overall was pretty fucking cool.
Okay. I went with like a 7.9.
Okay, so we're right in the same ballpark. Look at
me,
rating a UFC event higher than you.
I know, that's crazy. Hey, look at us. Who would have thought?
Look at us. Hey, shout out NG, shout out Ricky, both in the chat also. NG says first time tuning in.
Hey,
Hope
thank you for tuning in, NG.
Yeah, but like you said, the first question you asked was how'd
you have it going in?
It was going into this one. I thought Merab will put his pace on Sean, and he will close the distance. And once he closes it a couple times, that's going to be the beginning of the end, because he's a snowball and he rolls downhill and gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that eventually Sean will be just kind of frozen, waiting for the takedown. I thought it was kind of crazy that Merab was the underdog. You picked O'Malley, though, right?
I did pick O'Malley. And the reason
why.
that I picked O'Malley is because Merab has a history of getting clocked as he's coming in, right? It happened against Henry Cejudo, and it happened against Marlon Moraes. Mm-hmm. And both times, it's the exact same thing. It's Pepper. Shout out Pepper. And he like blitzes in to close the distance, throws this right, left little combo. But when he does that, he leaves his chin straight up and he gets caught, right?
Yeah. And who's really good at catching people coming in?
Come on, Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley. But look, dude, I said it too, by the way. I submitted those picks. 0 for 3. Your boy went 0 for 3.
Yeah,
but it's okay, dude. I came out here feeling like Drake. You know what I mean? Just every pick I was putting in was just the exact opposite.
Look, some people go to some like they'll go to influencers, right? And there's certain guys who are like, I'm only for like all I do is picks, and they go to them for their solid picks. It works both ways. If you go over 3, that's consistency, and people can come to you and just bet against whatever you say.
Opposites.
It's still important. And shout out, I just want to give a real quick shout out to NG in the chat. For those of you who don't know, he did a fantastic job on short notice doing the translation for Sexon and Superlek in the last one event in Denver. So shout out NG in the chat.
Absolutely.
But let's get into this fight.
Yes. So to your point, Merab, you expected him to go in, have a lot of pressure, and it was going to be the beginning of the end for Sean O'Malley.
Do Merab things, right? And right at the beginning is some Merab things where immediately Herb Dean's yelling at him. He stops the fight. They're like 30 seconds into it. He stops the fight because Tim Welch, Sean O'Malley's cornerman, and Merab are talking shit, yelling at each other. And Herb's like, hey, man, we're supposed to be fighting Sean right now. Knock that shit off. Yeah. What are you doing? And we're like, all right, this is bizarre already. It's a Merab
right
fight,
off the bat, which is perfect.
Already he's imposing his game plan, Merab. I thought Sean. Look, Dana said in the post-fight press conference, like he thought Sean looked flat and he looked slow, things like that. And I want you to find me someone who that doesn't apply to post-fighting Merab. You could look back at Henry Cejudo. Maybe Marlon's the only one that you can't, right? That fight was crazy. Marlon didn't look flat at all. But Jose Aldo, like all of these guys, they can't do anything, you know? So I don't really think it's a knock on Sean. I think it's tough, man. Like styles make fights, and every style matchup, it's not a one-sided affair. I could say more than likely Merab is going to go out there, put Sean on the back foot, smother him, not give him the space he needs to strike, all that stuff, and do that for the course of 5 rounds because he doesn't get tired. You're going to get tired from getting up, defending takedowns, getting up. Or I could say styles make fights. Merab comes in with his chin up and he's too aggressive, and Sean's a sniper. Sean might snipe him. Styles make fights. It works both ways in this one, which is, in my opinion, what made it such a compelling fight. And it just happened to be Merab style 1. But I see a lot of people riding O'Malley off after this, and it's like, dude, he lost a title fight after he already defended his belt once. Like, he's not done. You know, people lose to Merab all the time. Austin says, Ramiro, I told you not to doubt my boy Merab. He was coming for that payback for Aljo being done so dirty by Sean in the UFC.
I love Merab. I think he has one of the best autographs in the history of the UFC. I mean, look at that autograph, dude. Come on. So I've been cheering your boy Merab on, but I just thought he was going to get clipped on the way in. For me, Sean O'Malley is one of the best in his division in all of UFC in countering. He does a really good job of landing shots off his back foot. So even if he was taking a step back, I feel like he'd be able to land something solid. But you see the body language changed drastically after the first round. And people were saying like, oh, man, Merab really, just took Sean O'Malley out of his game pretty early on. And I think it really happened after the first round. If you go back and you take a look at the way that Sean O'Malley, his footwork, the way that he was moving in and out, very like a Dominic Cruz-esque in a way, like he was in and out. But then after the takedown and Merab dominating him after the first round, from that point on, he was very flat-footed and he was just shuffling forward, almost scared to make too big of a movement, and Merab would take him down. Yeah,
which is like textbook Merab, right?
Yep.
Real quick, Angie says, I don't know much about the UFC, but I was interested in Sean because I heard he was a striker. Super confused since he didn't look much a striker in this fight. LOL. Go back and watch some because he is very skilled. It's just that threat of a takedown just drowns strikers. Merab does this to everybody. Literally has done this to everybody. This isn't a good fight to judge Sean's striking ability, in my opinion. It's just, he got outworked here. Ganscow, shout out Ganscow, says, watching the Sphere card visuals on TV was basically the same as every Karate Combat card. But yeah, I think one of the things you alluded to, the moving in and out and stuff like that. Normally, one of Sean's favorite weapons is he throws that front kick way out of range, knowing that it's going to miss, and then he brings it back into stance to throw his right hand. And the reason he does that a lot is because if you throw a big kick and you whiff, a lot of times your opponent's going to rush in to counter that and say, "Here's my opening." So he'll throw that front kick, he'll miss it on purpose, and then come back ready for you to counter that, and that's where he snipes you. Merab was not biting off of that. Instead, Merab used the same concept where he's out on the outside, he's dancing back and forth, he has so much energy, and he'll spring in, and then he'll come back. And he'll feint. His feints are like full-on entries almost, but then he pulls back. And for a counter-striker like O'Malley, he sees that as his opening to counter-strike him, right? Oh, he's lunging in, here we go. But then he takes a step back. Now Sean's overextending, and then he's underneath, and he takes him down. And he did that perfectly. And it's the same thing that Sean does, really, except instead of drawing out a counter for his punches, it's drawing out a counter for the takedown. I thought he did such a good job of that. And it really, like, Sean was puzzled towards the end of the fight. He was biting on the big feints. And part of that's because sometimes Merab will blitz in. He will run at you, throw a couple punches, and then shoot on you. And so because that's an actual threat, because he will do that, then Sean thinks, this is the entry. He's doing that. I can hit him, but then he doesn't, and he's now overextended. I thought it was just fantastic game plan from Merab. It's just Merab doing Merab things, really, the whole fight up until the last 2 minutes, because then Sean dug him to the body. You know what's funny? This is like the grappling version of O'Malley versus Cheeto, but reversed. Because the whole Cheeto fight, O'Malley was just picking him apart. Cheeto couldn't do anything. And then at the very end of the fight, he hurts him to the body. And in this fight, Merab was just piecing him up with the grappling basically the whole fight. And then at the very end, Sean hurt him to the body. It's like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
So
But
this is
too little too late.
An 11-fight win streak for Merab. Now the champion. And now we have a shakeup in the division.
Yeah. Well, that division, I think that division is going to be nothing but shakeups. It's such a crazy division.
So who do you put him up against next?
Merab.
Mm-hmm.
You go Umar, and then you do O'Malley versus Sandhagen. I think that's the move.
Oh, okay.
And she says, also heard that knees at a grounded opponent are not allowed in the UFC. That true? Seems like an odd rule, or maybe I'm just used to one. Yeah, one's kind of the only, besides like Ryzen, they're the only of the major organizations that allow knees to a grounded opponent. And it's pretty whack.
Yep.
Pretty lame.
And a little bit of changes coming, I think they said November.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Look, we try not to rag on the commentary so much, but can we at least have commentators that know the rules of the sport they're commentating on? Because there was a moment where, was it this fight where a knee got thrown? I don't remember which fight it was, but a knee got thrown as the defending person's knee was about to touch, and they were talking about, oh, he's playing the game. That's illegal, blah, blah, blah. It's not. Or it is, right? And DC was like, oh, I watched a video, and it was saying that come November, that's not going to be illegal anymore. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You watched a video? What? You're fucking the official commentary person. Look, I love DC. That's not what the rule is. They are changing the rule to grounded opponents, but all it is coming in November, and all it is it's eliminating the putting one hand down, basically. They're saying putting your hand down does not make you a grounded fighter. It's anything other than the soles of your feet or your hands touching the mat, and you are now grounded. So if you put both hands on the ground, you're not grounded. If you put an elbow on the ground, you're grounded. If you put a knee on the ground, you're still grounded. It's anything other than your feet and your hands. It's crazy that they don't know that. They're literally commentating.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, look at this shot from Rob, though.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah. Phenomenal background there. Perfect shot. It almost looks like it's something out of a video game.
Yeah, it really does, huh?
Yeah, it looks really good. But congrats to Merab, man. He was holding off on fighting for the title for the longest time because of Aljo. Him and Aljo are best friends. He had always said, and Aljo had said too, that they're not going to fight each other. Aljo moving up to a different weight division, freed this up for Merab. So
who did you pick? Did you pick? I haven't looked back at it. Did you pick him to end the year with the belt, Merab?
I might have.
Shout out Michael Jordan says, what would you rate this card 1 to 10? I said an 8.2 because the main and co-main weren't very good. But
is that the Michael Jordan?
That is the Michael Jordan. You can tell by the profile picture.
Holy smokes. I have a lot of your shoes. I'm just saying. Welcome to the podcast, Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Genevieve says that's going to be such a better rule for them.
I had it a 7.9, Michael Jordan.
Yeah. That's going to be such a better rule for them. There's been so many weird are they, aren't they moments lately. Yeah, people say it doesn't go far enough. I agree. I think they should just allow them regardless, but it is definitely a step in the right direction.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely a step in the right direction. Again, congratulations to Merab Dvalishvili. Did you have anything else on the main event?
No, but I really hope they do Umar next and Sandhagen versus O'Malley.
Same. Okay. Well, move on to the co-main. We had Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa.
Oh, real quick.
Grasso, yes.
Speaking of
Kendrick Lamar.
Did you see Kendrick Lamar was there?
Oh my God. Somebody dropped the ball there, huh?
Yeah. I can't believe they did that, dude. For anybody who doesn't know, that's not Kendrick Lamar, but on the broadcast they showed him and they were like, Kendrick Lamar's in the house. That is Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, and who was it? Somebody was like, I'm pretty sure that's Terrence Bud Crawford there.
No, Anik was like, that looks a lot like
Anik?
Terrence Crawford. He said it looks a lot like him.
So funny, dude. Like a nice way of not calling out your team, but also calling out your team for putting down that it was Kendrick Lamar. So funny. All right. But yes, co-main event. We had Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. If you saw my picks video, I had Alexa Grasso going in. She won the first fight in dominant fashion. Second one was a no contest. I thought that it being a special night, Noche UFC, dedicated to the Mexican fighters, the Mexican heritage, that she'd come out guns a-blazing. And it was actually a rough night for all Mexican fighters, if I'm being honest.
Well, there was two did a good job. Two didn't have a rough night. Yeah, I thought also the theme for the co-main I thought was the best of the whole thing. I feel like this should have been the main event, but maybe they didn't want to because the main event didn't have a Mexican fighter in it. So they were like, it's kind of weird. So we'll do this weird future thing for them, and then we'll do this one for Grasso because this was honoring all of the like Mexican champions and like the pioneers of combat sports from Mexico. I thought that was so sick. Really good. The intro where they had all the statues of all the like famous boxers and stuff through time. I thought it was so cool.
Was really good.
But yeah, Valentina's like, I don't give a fuck. But this is so sick having the statues around them like while they're fighting. I thought that was so cool. Got to give credit to when it's due, right? DC was like, man, I hope they have a screen next to the cage for every event. And you're like, well, some organizations do. But this fight. Oh, also we didn't talk about the ring card girls. The last one they were futuristic. This one they were like, I guess, gold statues. I thought it was pretty sick. Throughout the whole night, they kept doing constant like costume changes for each theme for each fight.
Dude, I love the Day of the Dead one.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome, dude.
So good, so good.
Yeah, it was really cool. I just like when they put effort into being fun. You know, like just it's not that hard to just be fun. You know, so when they do it, it's like wow.
Yeah. Classic.
Speaking of fun, how about this fight, huh?
Oh boy, look. So one of the things that I heard him saying is like, hey, Valentina Shevchenko's doing a really good job of being first. I didn't really see it that way. And especially in the first round, I saw her like on her back foot a lot of times. I saw her waiting for Alexa to come forward. Once Alexa would throw something, Valentina had just such a quick 1-2 to counter every single time. She was doing such a good job just slipping really quickly. Grasso's right and then coming up with her own right. But I saw this as a fight of counters, and I thought maybe I'm seeing something different because they kept on saying, well, Valentina's being first. I was like, I don't see her being first.
Honestly, they were pretty bad the whole night. I don't want to rag on them too much, but they were pretty bad the whole night. Especially like in the Ortega fight was really bad. But like, yeah, in this one, I mean, Valentina's a counter striker. She always has been. And this fight was no different. Other than the fact that when they weren't I mean, a lot of it was on the ground. And look, I'm not saying this is what I believe, but there's a case to be made that sitting in someone's guard or half side control or half guard for the whole fight while they're actively hunting submissions on the back should lose you the fight. You're not doing any damage on top whatsoever, like at all, in the slightest bit.
She landed a couple of shots.
Yeah, but at least Grasso set up an inverted triangle, a triangle. This was actually an inverted triangle attempt here, which then she switched to the
couple
Kimura.
arm bars,
a couple arm bars, a guillotine. At least it's something trying to finish the fight. Where Valentina was literally just on top, sitting there, defending submission attempts. Look, none of them were very close. I'll be honest. The commentary team thought the armbar was close. It never really was, but at least it was something. Austin says this fight may not have been super exciting, but I think it was super high level. I don't give a fuck. Valentina worked for that W. This reminded me of DJ versus Moraes trilogy, to be honest. There was clear evolution. Yeah, the finale of that trilogy was kind of similar. It wasn't the most exciting fight. Look, and I'm not ragging on Valentina. You know, she was on top. The takedowns were very good. Her entries were like insane. But I mean, yeah.
I don't think that the person off their back, like, they shouldn't only be thinking like, oh, I got to get off of this. I got to stand up right away or else I'm going to lose this fight. They should also have an opportunity to say, let me try to win this fight off my back, right? Let me try to land a couple of submissions. Let me try to end this fight. But if you try to end the fight, if you try to sink in 5 different submissions and none of them land and they don't work, then you're screwed.
Yeah. Whereas the person on top's not doing anything. They're just being on top.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is what I think, you know, I'm not saying that she should have won this fight. I'm just saying it is an interesting talking point. Like, how much do submission attempts matter when the person on top isn't doing literally anything? Yeah.
But Shevchenko goes through what she won every round.
She must have. I think this was a very good performance for Valentina to get the win and her belt back. And even though they're even now in wins and losses, there's no way they're doing another one because of how bad the fight was entertainment wise. She did a very good job of sealing the rivalry shut with like a boring win that they're just gonna move on. If this was a banger and she won, they'd probably do another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. If it was
because now they're 1-1-1.
Moreno,
yeah,
dude, they'd make those guys fight every month if they could. Every single time, guaranteed banger. You know, this one, don't need to see this again. Maybe until next year's Mexican Independence Day.
Yeah. Now they'll do Manon Fiorot, right? Manon Fiorot versus Shevchenko is the fight to make.
Yeah. Oh, look at the statue in the back again.
Well, I thought this picture was cool too, because like the statue of like I'm not sure which boxer that is in the far background. Her head. It's like the same shot, you know. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool shot. Okay, well that's it for the co-main event. Let's move on to my third wrong pick of the night. We had Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. Brian Ortega coming off of a win against Yair Rodríguez, where he finished him off with an arm triangle. Then Diego Lopes. Look, I know that he went up against 50K Ige recently. It was on the shortest notice, though, for 50K Ige. Literally the morning of the card, they're like, hey,
not even the morning.
Sick. The afternoon, something like that, right? Where they're like, hey, Ortega's
like 2
sick,
hours.
dude. Like, can you fill in? He's like, yeah, dude, I was on the couch anyways, not doing anything. Like, I'll stop by. And
a couple blocks away.
Yeah. And it went to a decision. And so I thought, like, this is a pretty big jump in competition. I'm not saying Brian Ortega is the absolute world beater of the division, but he's gone up against some of the best of the best. I mean, going into this, he lost to Max Holloway and Volkanovski. Sure, he lost to Yair Rodríguez, but that was because his shoulder popped out or whatever. But I thought this is a pretty big jump, right? So I think I underestimated Diego Lopes.
Yeah, and the theme for this one was like Mexican independence, right? So like you got the I don't know what you call it. The ring girls looked sick though. They had the bullet straps and stuff.
Yeah,
pretty sick. I put a picture of each themed ring girl because I thought it was cool. It's like
I see.
It's a cool thing to do with ring girls, you know.
Yeah,
it's better.
Yeah, I mean, hey, give me Ariane Celeste though.
How dare you? She's retired.
But yes, Brian Ortega.
Yeah, this. How about this? Give me this.
Going against Diego Lopes, who's a Brazilian honorary Mexican, though he's training out of Mexico as well.
I thought he was half Brazilian, half Mexican.
I think he was just Brazilian. He trains in Mexico, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I thought he was like 50-50. I could be wrong.
Maybe he claims Mexico. I don't know.
Hey, he does now. That overhand right to left hook combo. This shot right here lands flush. Obviously, there's no way that punch is not going to land flush because Brian's literally just standing there. It cracks him.
It looks like he's about to kiss his fist.
Yeah, I mean he did. He did kiss his fist.
Yeah.
Hits him, turns him around as he's.
We didn't even talk about Merab's kisses.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's too late now. We can't go back. But that was one of the funniest moments I've ever seen, dude.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so good.
But there's the left hook that does land right on the forehead. Ganska says, I believe Ramiro's right, so maybe he is just honorary Mexican.
Yeah, honorary. We accept him,
but
in the draft, we'll take him.
In the draft, remember the Chappelle show?
That's what I'm talking about. So good. Yeah, but dude, that combo,
the entire Wu-Tang Clan.
So good. People that haven't watched it are like, what are they talking about? Yeah. But Lopes lands that big overhand right, and as Ortega's kind of like stumbling off to his side, lands that left hook flush, and that's beautiful, like primo striking, man. Because instead of Lopes landing or throwing where Ortega is, he lands the right, and he's like, dude, I'm gonna make him stumble off this one, and he throws the left exactly where he's gonna be. Down low. And I thought that was such a beautiful combo. And in my mind, Will, I'm like, hey, just how we drew it up. You know what I mean? Ortega takes a little licking to start off, gets a little wobbled, you know. Sometimes he hurts his ankle before he even starts the fight. And then he goes in and he starts ramping up as the fight goes on.
Yeah, he's a comeback kid, dude. He's tough as nails. He goes down. Lopes attacks him, hits him with some gnarly shots, busts him open on the ground. Ortega does land this sick ass up kick, which was really cool. And
his best strike of the night,
without a doubt. Lopes eats it for breakfast. They stand up. He kicks him flush in the side of the head, and Ortega eats that for breakfast because Ortega's got a fucking chin on him.
Dude, I don't know how he does it, man. Just heart.
It's crazy, dude.
Pure heart.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew where he was at after that first combo in that first round.
No, he looked up at the sphere screen and was just like, what's happening? Did I die?
Oh, dude.
Poor guy. But yeah, outside of that, the whole rest of the fight kind of slowed down after that first round. And Rogan was talking about how Ortega was like piecing up Lopes for the rest of the fight for some reason. His hands look so good, where he's like throwing both punches at the same time and like really just landing with like his arms and not stepping into anything. Meanwhile, like Lopes was just really just piecing him up the whole fight. I mean, he stayed in the fight. It was competitive up until the end. But Lopes kind of solidified the fact that, I mean, he's top 5. I think Ortega was ranked number 3. And there's some controversy there because everyone thought he should have been stripped because he was, it's not stripped, but taken out of the rankings because he was inactive for so long. But then he came back and beat Yair. So it's like, all right, I guess he is 3. And then, so Diego Lopes beats him. So
Diego Lopes, fantastic job with the calf kicks as well.
Yes, dude.
And then,
Ortega's
dude. Oh, yeah, it was all swollen.
Dude, it looked like it was like a bag attached to his shin.
Gnarly.
Nasty.
My last note of that fight was Ortega showed heart, but Lopes showed skill.
Classic Ortega fight.
Classic. All right. Props to Diego Lopes. To your point, he moves up to number 3 more than likely. Who you lining him up against?
I don't know, man, but let me think about that. But while I think about that, how crazy is it that he's now going to be ranked above Evloev, who he made his UFC debut against and lost? And
funny
since
the way
then
things work out sometimes, man.
Destroyed everybody. I don't know what you do. They're going to do Max versus Topuria. Volkanovski said in a video last night that he said that his next fight is for the title. So I'm guessing he's facing the winner of that fight. So you have to do a title eliminator, I guess. But if he just beat Ortega, like, I mean, the only people above him are Volkanovski, Max, and we've seen this before where you don't just take the ranking, right? So maybe he's not going to be 3, he'll be 5 or something, and maybe he fights someone like Yair or Arnold Allen.
I'm happy though that this went down, and while I'm an Ortega fan, it's like, hey, time to start moving, huh? These top 5 in this division, it's been the same top 5 for a long time, so it's nice to see some new blood in there, man. Until
Volk beats him and he has to go back down.
For real, dude.
I think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna force Volk to fight Lopes. I think is what's gonna happen. Because it's fucked up to have him fight Yair when Ortega literally just beat Yair and he just beat Ortega. And then Arnold Allen, I don't think you do that. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. Yeah. I feel like the Volkanovski fight makes the most sense. Make that a number 1 contender fight. But if they've already promised, well, we know UFC promises work, so maybe they don't give Volkanovski a title shot next. I don't know. You know what the worst timeline is? You know what the worst timeline is?
What?
Is if, to your point, finally get things moving. If Max beats Topuria and they're like, Max, come up to lightweight again. We want you to do something cool at lightweight. And then the whole division is just waiting for another one.
I can see that happening, though.
Give me this, though. They couldn't do the Spain fight in time. If Topuria beats Max, if they can somehow do Topuria versus Diego Lopes in Spain, that shit would be so sick.
That would actually.
That'd be awesome.
All right, man. Going on to the next fight. This was actually a really good fight, man. One of the best fights of the year so far. But we had Esteban Ribovics versus Daniel Zellhuber.
I'll tell you right now, this is my fight of the year for the UFC Elite.
Man.
My fight of the year. They lined it up perfectly because this was the one with the Day of the Dead. How fucking perfect was that? It was that graphic. The intro for this one was so good.
2 zombies just going at it.
Yeah, it was perfect. This one, they fucking nailed it. I love Zellhuber. Ribovics, I like, but I wasn't that high on him going into this one, I'll be honest. I'm very high on Zellhuber even now. So this one perked my ears on Esteban because this was a fucking awesome fight. Even I mean, look how cool that was.
Look at that. That looks amazing.
Yeah, a little blurry, but
for anybody just listening, highly recommend that you hop on YouTube so you can actually see the pictures that we use throughout the podcast and we refer to or reference. So that way it makes it a little more fun.
Definitely. And so going into this fight, before we even talk about the 3rd round, and the ring card girls,
hands down, best costumes of the night.
Very good, very
so
good. When they said that they're like, we went to Mexico and we got 6 Mexican ring card girls for this, I was like, what is going on? Like, why? Like, what are you doing? And then they actually did something cool with it. So props to them.
Yeah.
But the first 2 rounds of this fight were so fucking good, like so good. I'm so impressed with Esteban's ability to stay composed under fire, toe to toe, like in a phone booth. When he's not punching, he's rolling. And it was perfect, dude. And you'll see Zellhuber's mixing up shots to the body, to the head. And you see him leaning, dropping the elbow to block the body shot, rolling on the next shot. Like, it was just beautiful. In the fire, they were just trading shots, defending well. It was just so good. And, like, the numbers, like the striking numbers, I had them. I don't now, but I had them.
But, yeah, that was actually going to be one of my points, though, Will, is just both of them in the pocket.
Yeah.
Trading were so good and so crisp. Like, as we went into the 3rd round, did it start getting a little sloppier? Yes. Course. They were both rocked, man. They were both exhausted, and they're just throwing the kitchen sink at each other. But that first round, every time Beyblade style, they would just go in close and just pa, 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 and then they back up. One of them would rock one, the other one would rock the other. Dude, Zellhuber, though, was 3 seconds away from Herzog calling the fight. Well,
so first round, I had him back. Zellhuber 27, Esteban 24, 35% and 36%. Both the 2 of them landed very close. Second round, Zellhuber 51 strikes at 43%, Esteban 40 strikes at 44%. Like, That's how close it was going into the third round. Also, 50 strikes, the two of them landing 50 strikes damn near in the second round. That's insane.
That's insane, dude. Yeah.
Third round's 43-92. But to your point, Zellhuber hurts him, drops him in the third round. And Esteban gets up quick though. And eventually he said, fuck the phone booth. I'm hitting this guy as he's fading away with long shots. And he started landing this big, long right hand and catching Zellhuber where I think he thought he was safe because most of the fight he was safe there. Esteban wasn't throwing when they were at that distance. And then now he started to, and he was just going right over the shoulder and catching him at the end of the punches. And Zellhuber is slipping and fading away, smashing into the fence because he's like stumbling over to it. And Esteban just goes full Dragon Ball Z mode and starts throwing crazy punches. And so Hoover's just like, I mean, like to your point, Herzog, this might be fight of the year. Herzog, this might be ref of the year in this fight. I thought he did such a good job in this fight because you could have called this fight. You could have called it. And Zellhuber
every time that he said, I need you to move, Zellhuber did just enough for Herzog to not call it off. And then he'd tell him again, Muévete. And he'd start moving again. I'm like, oh my God. Like, dude, he's this close. He's so close to just waving his arms and getting in between them. Because Zellhuber was really hurt, man.
Dude, not only that, there's a sequence where for like 10 full seconds he's up against the fence, just and Esteban stops punching because he's like, where is he? And he just keeps moving. And he like it was crazy. And then after he recovered a little bit, he starts uncorking that left hook right straight, where Esteban's like bah, 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 and then left hook right straight and make him take a step back. And then Esteban would come back in, start unloading, left hook right straight, make him take a step back. Like it was crazy, dude.
To your point, when he was up against the cage and he was just bobbing and weaving and Ribovics stopped and he was just timing him and he was like, jab. And then he'd wait for the bob and weave again. He goes, jab. He's like, dude, if I start swinging with anything else, I'm just gonna miss him. So you would just time it until you got back over and like roll towards his right shoulder and just jab him real quick. It was so funny, but it was just what he needed because he gave him just enough time. Exactly. And then after that sequence right there, he took it back to the center of the octagon and he looked a lot better. Yeah,
bit down his mouthpiece, started swinging and banging again. I mean, it was just like it was such a good fight, dude. Such a good fight. I mean, the photos from this fight also are fantastic. Just two dudes cracking each other. Both of their stocks go up, in my opinion. I was already super high on Zellhuber. This showed me a new light to him where he can just go through a dogfight where he can be the nail, right? And Esteban, to do this to a guy that I think so highly of in Zellhuber, he skyrockets, in my opinion. I'm so excited to see his next fight.
So Zellhuber falls to 15-2. Dude, Ribovics really quickly and quietly doing his thing, man, at 14-1 now.
14-1, dude.
Kind of coming in under the radar a little bit, huh?
Yeah, and beat somebody who, I mean, when he beat Terrence McKinney, that was impressive, right? But Terrence McKinney's like a coin flip, right? He's either going to knock you out in the first round or you're going to beat him. And this time, I mean, he set him up with that high kick so perfectly. But I was like, I don't know how much stock to put in this, if I'm being honest. This one I put a ton of stock into. This is so impressive to me.
Yeah, for sure. Fun fight, to your point. Probably fight of the year thus far. It's going to take a lot to take that number one spot by the end of the year.
Yeah, a lot of people will say Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje still is fight of the year. But for me, that was like, it was very good, but it was just a little too one-sided for me to be fight of the year. It was insane, obviously, and because the finish was crazy and all that stuff. But yeah, I think this probably takes it. Recency bias is still also high, but I loved it.
All right, man.
I've watched it like 4 fucking times now.
Did you already?
Yeah, dude. It's so good.
We have the fight before that too, Ronaldo Rodríguez versus Ode Osbourne. A lot of trash talking going into this. Hilarious trash talking, by the way, at the press conference.
Dude, how about
so funny?
Rodríguez says something that the translator's like, I'm not going to translate that. And Zellhuber's sitting right there, and he points to the translator, and he's like, that's not what he said. It's so funny, dude.
Called him out.
Yeah. But this one was like like ancient civilizations type thing was the theme for this one. Arguably the coolest of the night. I think the Day of the Dead one was very cool, but I think this is maybe the second
Oh, you
best.
took this one, took it, huh?
I don't know. It's so. I mean, look at that. That's so.
By the way, did you figure out all the Easter eggs for the 25 grand?
I didn't think of one of them. I have no idea what they were. Did you?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But this was also the first fight of the main card, which is when they really started going out with the themes and the graphics and stuff. And it was pretty fucking cool. I'll be honest. I thought this was awesome. Pretty lame of them to put the heartbeats up on the sphere wall. I thought that was pretty lame. And that is the ring card girl.
The Aztec outfits.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Awesome. I will give him props on this one. This one's actually a pretty tight getup, but yeah.
You said that about the last one too.
Yeah.
The day props all together.
No. I like the Day of the Dead one and then the Aztec Warrior outfits. That was it.
Really? That's the only ones?
Yeah.
I thought the Future one was pretty lame.
Yeah, that one was lame. The Revolution ones, with the yeah. No, I didn't really like that one. The gold.
You don't like the C-3PO one?
Dude, I'm good, man. I'm good. But dude, starting off, Osbourne lands a big shot, drops Rodríguez right away. Boom.
Yeah, very cool. And I watched that. If you watch that in slow mo, it was actually on a pretty cool entry from Rodríguez where he goes bam, bam, and then finishes with a leg kick. And if you see, Ode literally drops his knee down to check that leg kick perfectly, the ankle, like literally ankle to the knee, and then reaches down to kind of keep him off balance so that as he's falling back, he can throw this right hook. Very cool exchange from Ode Osbourne. And then puts him in a triangle right away, huh?
But before that, so this was crazy because he knocks him down and then he hits him with this big shot. And Rodríguez does one of those where like his eyes kind of rolls to the back of his head.
Yeah.
Then he hits another big shot, and then Rodríguez like woke up after that, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
he
and then he
knocked him
saw
out
the
and then woke him
screen
up.
with the pyramids and stuff, and he was like,
"Yeah, he
got
powered up
energized.
after that, dude.
Powered up, dude,
Powered
like,
up. Yeah.
like me with those immune boosters in Denver,
Which did not work.
which
did
didn't
not
even
work.
work. You know what else didn't
dude.
work? This fucking
You were
triangle,
super
dude.
boosted, and that did not work. Yeah, no, the triangle. How long was he in that triangle for? Holy smokes!
Like a minute and a half, dude.
Had
And
to
I've been there.
Gassed him out.
I've been there holding a triangle for like a minute and a half, dude. And as soon as the guy got out of it, I was done, dude. I was absolutely done.
Yeah.
And then second round, Rodríguez smashes him, takes his back. Almost got it. It almost looked like it was going to get stopped in the second round.
Close, it seemed like, yeah.
Yeah, and then third round was actually, I thought, very competitive. It was that was a cool round. The first two rounds were both crazy. I thought they were both 10-8 rounds. First round, 10-8 round for Ode. Second was a 10-8 for Rodríguez. And then the third round was close, but Rodríguez just stayed for the course, man.
Yeah, and props to Osbourne because in that second round, I thought to myself, Osbourne is so gassed. There's no way he makes it through the entire fight. Then he came out even better in the third round.
He looked very good in the third round. It's so hard. If you 10-8 somebody in the first and then they 10-8 you, I cannot imagine because you get a 10-8 on somebody, you're probably exhausted just from your output, and then they do it back to you. So now you're exhausted and you just got beat up. To then have a good third round is crazy. That's very impressive.
But Rodríguez comes away with the win. You had mentioned that there was just about 2 Mexican fighters the entire night that actually had a decent night on Noche UFC.
He was one of them.
He was one of them. Yep, that's right. Anything else on this fight, though, before we move on?
No. Fun fight, though.
Fun fight. Look at that picture there, too. Holy smokes.
Yeah,
what a
really
shot.
Cool.
All right. We also had Irene Aldana versus Norma Dumont. They should have just named this card Brazil versus Mexico, huh?
I know, damn near, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty close to that. But, we have Irene Aldana. Look, dude, she is one of the best boxers in women's MMA. And on Twitter world, now X, I went through and posted, hey, Irene has some fantastic boxing. But the problem is that it's mixed martial arts. And she's just so adamant to come in with a high guard right? Hands, elbows with the low blow, hands up high on the head, and just boxing off of that over and over and over again. The exact same entry consistently. Dumont had a beautiful game plan in avoiding those long shots from Irene. But what did you think of the fight?
Yeah, this one, look, the last fight, Aldana kind of got exposed a little bit in her like defense game, especially with low kicks, obviously. Still, yeah, I think she still got that win though, right? That was a crazy fight. That was against what? Carajosa? Yes, where she got lit up to the legs and still came out with the win. Bless you. But in this one, I thought Dumont did such a good job of taking that and saying, look, I'm not just going to spam low kicks because even that didn't work for Hossa, right? But I am going to kick her. And I thought her game plan was so good that, like you mentioned, she just circles away. Aldana's just kind of following, not cutting off the cage at all.
Not cutting off the cage.
And just getting picked apart. And anytime she did cut off and they'd stand right in front of each other, then she'd blast her with the leg kick, and then she'd get back on her bike. And it was like, dude, they did their homework on this one, and she's executing it very well. It was just very good.
Hey, and I think that what was that one?
Oh, that one was
what was this theme?
This was pre-theme. I think this was just like Mexico.
The land.
This is before the main card, so they didn't do like a theme for this one.
Got it. Okay.
And this was up until this point, the ring card girls were wearing this for the whole card up until this point. Then they started changing once the main card.
Oh, okay. Hey, good observation there. I didn't even notice that.
I was paying attention, man.
So second round though, really the biggest talk out of this fight was the headbutt.
Yes, which there is a picture of. I think it's next.
Of the headbutt?
Yeah, because there's the headbutt right there. That's the clash of heads. And graphic content warning, the next picture is fucked up.
Yeah. And this is pretty bad. So just giving everybody like a serious heads up here. Genevieve, you're going to want to zoom in for this. Go full screen, look. Genevieve. Oh,
Jesus Christ, dude. And then there's Zhang Wei Li reacting to it in between rounds. But if you notice, there's also a cut across the bridge of her nose and over here. Like, she was getting fucked up even outside of that. There's a picture the UFC doctor put on his Instagram, a video of before and after of the stitches.
We're not going to show that, are we?
No, we're not.
No, that one's a little too graphic.
We will definitely, this whole video will get taken down if we show it, because it is fucked, because he's like moving the skin around. It's crazy. And she
every one of her cuts, he's like,
dude.
Where?
Yeah. Like, can you not, dude?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Gross.
And she already posted on Instagram.
It was that thick. Like from your skin? Yeah, to where it starts to your forehead to like the actual skull. I didn't know it was that thick.
It's the worst cut in UFC history too, I think.
Hands down.
RoboCop was really bad, very similar. But this one it takes the cake, I think. And props to Irene, because she posted on Instagram already. She's like, all healed up, ready for the next one. Another day in the office. And you're like, oh my God, dude.
Savage.
Savage. But Dumont had a very good showing.
Yeah, she did.
Despite the headbutt. Look, also, I do think this fight probably should have been stopped due to the cut. And it was from a head kick. I think this should probably be like a no contest or something. I just don't think. Look, yes, Dumont was winning up until that point, and it happened late in the second round. But that being said, it absolutely affected the rest of the fight, and it's tough. And Aldana was coming forward still, and she actually did land a few really good shots in the third round, but it affected the fight so much. The fact that they didn't even have the doctors look at it at any point is crazy to me. She was literally pulling up her shirt to wipe it during the fight. If I see that as a ref, you're supposed to stop it if blood's going into the eyes, right? If a fighter is literally, while she could get punched in the face, is pulling her shirt up to wipe her face because it's in her eyes, maybe you stop it at that point and just say, hey, maybe we should get a doctor to look at this and say, oh, their whole forehead is open. Let's stop this. But they didn't.
Worst cut ever.
Yeah, it really was bad. But props to Dumont. She's up there now, man. She's putting up a good run. They closed 145. She's at 135 now.
Yeah, I think this is gonna probably move her up. What was it? Fourth, fifth?
Gotta be.
Yep. All right. By the way, are we gonna cover every other fight on the card?
We're not gonna cover the Rosas fight, and the next two are quick.
Okay, so we had
We only have 3 left.
Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes.
Bahamondes, that's my boy. Everybody was writing him off in this one, and I was like, what is happening here? I get it. Torres has been steamrolling people, but you're not going to steamroll Bahamondes. It's not going to happen.
No.
It's too slick. And he tried.
Yeah, he tried real hard. He was extending his shots, leaving himself wide open. And when I say extending, dude, he was extending, like really trying to reach from something that's not his distance that he should be working at, going up against Bahamondes. Bahamondes had some beautiful footwork to kind of like sidestep a little bit and up on the side.
It was so good.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I saw people saying he used the tall man defense perfectly. I disagree wholeheartedly. He was moving with his feet. Tall man defense is leaning away, leaning back from shots.
Yeah, no.
Keep your head above water. Yeah, his footwork was fantastic. And the reads were fantastic because Torres was literally going in with the same entry every single time. Like literally every entry was the same. And he paid for it 3 times. This is it. He literally jab and then run through with his straight. This time it landed. Bahamondes said, that's never landing again. That's crazy. And so he goes jab, left hand, and then Bahamondes fades back, slips the left hand, kicks him in the head. He stumbles, gets back up. He does it again. I think there's some pictures of it. There's the third time he did it. He misses with the left hand.
I was talking about.
And that's the side step, and he cracks him with the right hand. A nice little pull counter on the pivot. Cracks him. He goes down. There's the same shot from a professional photographer. He goes down, hits him with a couple shots on the ground. Then they eventually get back up. And then what does Manuel Torres do? He jabs at him, and he throws that big shot, this rear hand shot, and Bahamondes sidesteps and hits him with that same right hand and drops him. And at this point,
Torres looked at him. He's looking at him. He's like, "How did you see that coming?"
Yeah, that's my best move. And then he covers up and he turtles and he turns the opposite way instead of turning into him.
At that point, huh?
And at that point, it's over. Yeah.
Great job, Goddard. Great job.
Yeah, Goddard did a great job. Bahamondes did a great job. Fade away high kick off that counter. Step back right hand twice to get the finish. Very cool. Really cool performance by Bahamondes in a fight that I think he was the underdog in.
Yeah, he was. Crazy, huh?
That blows my mind.
Yeah. Maybe I should have picked him because I did pick him going into this. I was like,
you could have put him in the video.
I should have.
Yeah.
Hey, next time maybe.
Next time. It's tough though. You only got 60 seconds.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. I was like, which fights will be more popular? Anyways, let's move on to the next one. We had Ketlen Souza versus Yazmin Jauregui.
Yeah. Look, this fight was hilarious and cool. I also just checked the chat, and we are getting stuff in the chat. It's just not coming through. So sorry, guys, if if we're just not responding to you guys in the chat.
Really?
Yeah, it's just not coming through on my side.
It's not coming through on my side either. I thought it just got quiet all of a sudden.
You're like, damn, nobody cared about the prelims at all.
I guess, huh?
Yeah, but so sorry about that, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. But this fight, Yazmin is kind of the hot prospect, right? And she got derailed a little bit in her last fight, was it? She got her first loss, I think, in her last fight. No, she beat Sam Hughes. It was before that. She got knocked out. This fight, they're kind of trading a little bit, right? Jauregui kicks her low. And you're like, oh, dang, that's rare for them to stop a fight for that. But they do. And it was a nasty shot. It was like straight to the groin.
The groin strikes.
Yeah, there it is. Bam. That's a tough one to take.
Yep.
So they stop it, then they restart, and then they both throw front kicks simultaneously. And Souza lands low. And immediately Jauregui's like, woo! Like,
yeah, that was funny.
Shit.
That was funny.
There's a picture of her in pain from it, and Herzog's laughing. It's so funny.
I mean, the way that she was like yelling and the sounds she was making, I could see why Herzog was cracking up.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, so yeah, that happens, and then they restart, and then like 10 seconds after they restart, they trade a punch, and they both try to hook at the same time. Souza's lands, and she goes down. And Genevieve says, "Yikes! Ouch! It came through on Twitch. The comment, so maybe just
there we
YouTube
go.
chat isn't working, but Twitch chat is working.
Shout out to finding a way.
Finding a way. But yeah, she lands this left hand. She goes down, and as she's getting up, Souza just jumps on her and like literally just like a older sibling just grabs her by the neck and just pulls her into like back mount, and then just chokes her out. I mean, like, this is not the position. If you show me this picture and you're like, what happens next? I'd say, okay, yeah, she's getting a single leg. She's going to get up to her knees and she's going to end up on top here. No, that's not what happened. Souza took the back and then choked her unconscious.
Ganscow coming through now saying prelims were so good she ran through her.
Twitch
Same
chat.
thing coming through on Twitch. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yes.
She chokes her unconscious. There's a couple pictures of the choke and her going unconscious.
Oh yeah,
choke, her arms go
punch the air.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, and Austin's now on Twitch too. Hey, shout out. Just jumping over where it works. Appreciate y'all. Man, my sister and I laughed so hard. Yeah, I'm assuming from the groin strikes. And not from her being choked unconscious, but yeah, kind of scary. But a big win there for Souza. Very cool. The left hook knockdown to choking someone unconscious. Very cool.
Always cool when that happens, except for when you're the one that's being choked unconscious. But we also had Joshua Van versus Edgar Cháirez. Yeah,
this one, it bummed me out because Edgar, I don't know if you remember, he would walk out with the like bandolero, right? Or the bandoliers. And I thought that was so fucking sick. And I was like, what's he going to walk out with on Mexican Independence Day at the Sphere? And they're like, you can get a Venom shirt. That's all you get. So I was like, damn it, dude. But Van taking this on way too short notice. I think 63 days since he got knocked out by Johnson when he got a 60-day medical suspension. So that's tough. But he brought it, man. This was fucking an awesome fight, dude. I love both these guys. Realistically, they're both so cool. Edgar is so quick with his switch kick to the body. And I thought Josh Van, dude, his body work was fucking awesome, dude. So
he hurt Cháirez to the body so many times, man.
Yeah.
Really opened up all the shots up top.
Yeah. Did you watch Bohachuk versus Ortiz boxing like a couple weeks ago?
No.
Very good fight. If you haven't watched it, very good fight. Had a very cool moments where Ortiz would just like go forehead to forehead and they'd just lean on each other and he'd lean to his left, throw the left hook to the body, and now he's primed to throw the overhand. He's leaning into his overhand, right? And same thing, Josh Van. Once he found that left hook to the body, he'd then feint it, lean, which then sets up the overhand to come over, and then he was just mixing that up perfectly. Sometimes you go to the body, sometimes you'd feint it to the overhand, sometimes you go to the body and throw the overhand. It was just like once he found that, you can start building off of that. And I thought he did such a good job with that. He really hurt Cháirez, had him up against the fence, starts throwing that shovel uppercut. And then there's a point where Edgar is literally holding onto the fence. He eats a clean shot. His knees buckle, but he's holding on the fence so he stays upright. And then he takes that same hand and throws a spinning back fist and cracks Van. And Van is now hurt.
Gets wobbled.
And you're like, holy shit, man. And then he ends up taking him down and ending up on top. Van does. And it was just crazy. And Austin says, bro, my man Josh Van got this one done. So happy for him. And on short notice, too, I thought he was cooked after round one with those leg kicks, but those body shots were so nasty. Get him back ASAP. Yeah, because, dude, it was tough, dude. It was tough.
Yeah.
All of the chats now have come through from YouTube, by the way. Like, literally all at once. I got all of them.
Yeah. I just saw them all drop right now, too.
Yeah, how weird.
By the way, as I'm scrolling and we're talking about the cut, Genevieve says, show it, you cowards. And I think she's talking about the picture of the
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, that is pretty funny.
Dude, so what the hell's going on? Genevieve says I'm watching on YouTube. Austin says, no, I'm not on Twitch, still on YouTube.
I think that was Rich that was actually posting it for us on Twitch so that we could read it.
Oh, that's cool.
Juice Man says, "What's up, Romero, aka John Anik? One more sleep. What up, Juice Man?" Blunderbub had joined us as well after all the chat had stopped.
That's crazy. That bums me out. Better late than
we
never.
Missed all these? Yeah, absolutely. Gans need to start measuring the length of cuts. That one was disgusting. Seriously, if you haven't seen it, make sure you go on Twitter or X and check out that video. Will, you sent it to me. It was so disgusting. Disturbed me. But to know that it was that bad and she was allowed to continue fighting, well,
she wasn't. I don't know. Doctor never even looked at it. But also check out Virgil Ortiz versus Boachuk. That fight was fucking cool. Which was from like a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, probably.
Well, those are all the
very good fight.
Cover.
Yeah, Raul Rosas got a Chihuihuis in the sphere. He said 1, 2, 3 Chihuihuis. Everybody did it with him. That's like the most notable thing about the whole fight. But yeah, pretty good card.
It was decent. 7.8, 7.9. Not
very
bad.
Good.
So moment of silence. Will, what fights did we lose?
Yeah, we lost a couple fights. Michelle Pajeda versus Fluffy Hernandez got rescheduled. They got their main event now. That would have been really fucking cool. Again, a Brazilian versus a Mexican.
I'm telling you, dude.
Point. Yeah. Cháirez was supposed to fight Borjas. Borjas withdrew, so they got him Josh Van. Josh Van beats him. It's always tough. And then bonuses. Bahamondes, my boy, got a bonus, as he should have. That was fucking cool.
Nice.
And then I believe Souza.
Look at the graphics on this one. That's nice.
It's cool. Isn't it nice when they put effort into stuff?
Yeah, this is neat.
Huh? Yeah.
I like it.
But yeah, I think Souza got one. And then fight of the night, I believe, was Zellhuber versus.
Oh, how can it not be?
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I think we lost the chat again too. The hell, YouTube.
Is it YouTube or is it our streamer?
It's probably the platform we use to stream being stupid.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. What do we got next week?
There's no UFC next week, I don't think.
Oh.
I think there's a PFL Mania. We got
Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua
versus Danielle Dubois.
Yeah, Cage Warriors, LFA. Karate Combat we got.
Yeah, and I think that's about it, right?
PFL Mania 3 could be decent. Yeah, dude. We got fights, I guess.
LFA 193 has a great value Shevchenko. From the looks of it. Yeah, so we'll see what we end up coming up with for that week.
Yeah, we just had what was it? LFA just had another card in Santa Cruz this past weekend.
Oh, sick, dude.
That's cool. Yeah.
All right.
We got Friday fights. One Friday fights.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Shout out to Ganskow, Austin, Genevieve, Blunderbub. We had who else was on here? Michael Jordan, Juiceman 562. Yeah, Michael Jordan taking time out of his busy day, man, to hop on the podcast. We had our boy Pepper. Pepper joined us as well. Shout out Pepper.
I'm looking at the live chat on my phone. Pepper actually just said, "What do you guys think about Khalil Roundtree versus Alex? As a Muay Thai fighter, I found Khalil super interesting." Agree. That's a good way to put it. Khalil is very
but it depends. It depends. Is he going to come in Bangkok ready or not?
Well, he said he's not. He's like, I'm not going to take him down. And everyone's like, what an idiot. And he's like, when have you seen Khalil ever take anybody down? That's not like he's a striker, man. That's fair. I'm very interested in that fight. I don't necessarily think Khalil earned a title shot at this point. I thought he could have done one more fight.
Hey, I am picking right now Alex Pereira. And you know what that means? Yeah. Put all your money on Khalil Roundtree. Yeah, bet the house on Khalil.
Yeah.
Based off my record right now.
Austin said, you guys see Karate Combat CEO coming for one. Good luck. Yeah, Karate Combat is very cool. I like the stuff they're doing. Their events are very fun. I really, really, really dislike the guy that runs it, though. If you haven't seen the video of a brawl that happened at Karate Combat where Sam Alvey gets involved and the president chokes out a dude, absolutely screamed, like choked the guy unconscious, right? During the scuffle. The scuffle was pretty much over. They could have just pulled the guy away, and instead he chose to rear naked choke him and choke him till he was unconscious. It absolutely screamed, I've been waiting to do this to somebody for my whole life, and now's the opportunity where I won't get in trouble for doing it. I'm going to go for it. Even though it's 100% not necessary, I got to flex this, and I got to feel what it's like. And I really disliked that. I thought that was pretty fucking lame.
Scumbagish?
Again, very scumbagish. That being said, I very much like karate combat. Karate combat is cool. I just don't like the guy that runs it.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, hey, we did it, Will. Another episode.
Yeah, and Pepper said Pepper said on the 26th, the Friday fights, that one is very good. We'll definitely be talking about that one come the following weekend.
For sure.
Because it's crazy.
All right. Well, hey, shout out to everybody on the chat. I already named everybody that was on. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry that the chat kept on going in and out.
Yeah.
Just a friendly reminder, if you know anybody that loves combat sports, have them subscribe. Have them hit that notification bell. We're trying to reach 15,000 subscribers. We're 50 away from that. But then after that, we're trying to reach that the 20K after that.
Yeah. The goal
Can't
just
stop,
keeps,
won't stop.
The goal keeps going up. Yeah, what are we at? We need we've gotten 4 since the stream started, so
nice.
We're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there, yeah. And hey, everybody might be wondering, like, why is this podcast growing? It's probably because of the production. Hey, that's our boy Richard Bustos, man, producing in the background. You know what I mean? Shout out Rich. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another week of Story of the Fight.